This week's episode is proudly sponsored by Texas Roadhouse, where there's legendary food with legendary service.
Wow.
Oh, that's the whole
Who's
thing.
back?
No, that's it.
That's
the
it.
whole thing. It's not the song.
So I can't heat.
No. Thank you.
We have a big intro.
None of these jokers knew what it was.
We get flagged on it every single week, by the way.
Going
Gets
through
flagged
just
copyright
Making
every
no
week.
money.
If
Wait, I'm
we-
not making any money.
No shot.
No,
There's just
Texas
never a chance.
Roadhouse is helping us out.
Yeah,
gosh.
okay. Go ahead. Do the
Thank
intro.
you. By the way, shout out to
we got
Texas
a big,
Roadhouse.
we got a big
Shout
guest
out.
Maybe we go
Attention.
there tonight.
We do have to go pick up our vouchers.
This
So-
is not interesting for people. Start the show.
Welcome back to What the Podcast. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
Together we are.
Ryan and John.
On the couch as always, Cara Tafolla, and joining us once again,
Yeah.
producer Olivia
She's
Tafolla.
I
back.
forgot you used to call.
Oh, sorry. That was the wrong button.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
god!
Jeez, I'm
This
sorry.
place got way too high tech. You don't
I
have
know.
any
Too
money for
plugged
this.
in.
I know. We used to be so like low tech.
It
right?
Low
was
tech.
grassroots. Dang, this
Oh,
sucks.
see what we always forget.
Gosh.
And he's
this
not
is
here,
crazy,
so.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
by the
Honestly,
way-
it feels a little quieter,
Annie.
doesn't it?
It feels off.
Are you guys following Annie's Tramble Talk?
Yeah, I know. She's posting on her business account. I commented. I was like, just
Pretty
enjoy
awesome.
your Europe trip, please.
yeah,
She's
that's kind of
modeling.
crazy.
Harsh on the business stuff, you know.
And in typical What the Podcast fashion, we're about a day late and a dollar short.
That's
Talking
true.
about like the biggest thing on the internet
Yeah.
all year. Is
Ryan
this
Seacrest.
okay? Go ahead.
Woohoo.
Goal. Ryan Seacrest. Is
Ryan
on.
Seacrest. Yeah, that's it. That's
Wheel
the
of
biggest thing.
Fortune.
Ryan
Wheel of
Seacrest.
Fortune. He's hosting Wheel of Fortune. How do you
He
guys feel
is.
about it?
New host.
I don't really care.
Kara loves it. Kara was. All
I
over
do.
it.
I'd watch it. I mean, I love Pat Sajak.
I feel like
you-
it's got to be the one. I mean, I know it's a big show and it's like a legacy show.
It does. It seems like a place where celebrities go to die. a little
Thank
bit.
you.
Like,
Yes.
I feel like
it feels
Pat
like
Sajak
purgatory.
can't do it. Like, I feel
'Cause
like
he's done.
Vanna
He's done.
White also needs to leave.
Oh,
I think Vanna is
interesting.
leaving.
Oh.
Is she?
Are they married or something? Is that
No.
They're just lovers.
That's the lore.
Business
is that
partners.
they literally
I like
travel
Cara.
to all these places to film Wheel of Fortune stuff
Wait,
together.
Wait.
Yeah,
Where are
yeah.
they traveling to film? Will?
Oh, you've never watched Wheel of Fortune?
Oh,
All the
God.
time.
You're
They're
not
like
even a fan,
in the
John?
Tuscan hills, and they're
Yes.
like, "You're gonna win this."
We're
It's
the
like
Tuscan Hills.
you've never
They'll
seen
go
like
to Disneyland
Always Disney World.
or
Caribbean
Disney
Week.
World. Yeah.
Next week we're streaming from the
Disney
They
Outlaws.
always-
Titanic.
Yeah.
Bottle
but it's for like a 10-second
John,
thing.
what
Okay.
the-
Not cool.
That was,
was not cool.
crazy.
I know, I'm
it's
sorry.
fine, whatever.
I'm
You
sorry.
will win
We'll
a
get to that. We will get to
submersive
that.
vehicle
Oh,
to
A
go
trip-
see the Titanic.
guys,
One thing at a time.
one thing at a
people.
time,
Jeez.
please.
I don't know. What do you think about Ryan?
I think
Not you.
What do you
he
think about the
makes
Titanic,
sense.
Ryan?
I think he makes sense as the pick. If I was going to replace Pat Sajak, I would probably.
Fire somebody in the first day to establish dominance.
Oh, if I was personally
Yeah.
replacing him, no.
Yeah.
Like if I was the producer of that show and I was going to replace him with another celebrity,
Yeah, that's true.
I would choose. Yeah, fire a bunch of little people.
That's like when he
All the
passed
interns
away.
are out.
What was the
Yeah,
guy that
they're
left?
done.
Alec.
Nothing.
Alec. Oh my gosh.
Baldwin.
How could you ever follow that guy?
Oh yeah.
What did he
It's
leave?
Devastating.
He died.
Alec
He
Baldwin.
passed away.
He shot that guy
Yeah.
on the
Right?
rust.
Wrong
Right,
Alec.
and it was a woman. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
get your facts.
by the
straight.
way,
Go ahead.
Olivia's here back now.
Oh!
So we can't
We can't
be
say
our
anything
foolish selves.
wrong.
Yeah,
we
just,
can't be our
just be
foolish selves.
considerate.
No
people.
mistakes.
You guys know why they picked Ryan Seacrest, right?
Why?
For
'Cause
ratings
it's
or
ABC,
He paid them.
Disney. Ryan
Yes.
Seacrest is literally the face of Disney.
Right.
He does all the Disney sing-alongs.
Ryan Seacrest
Yeah.
has signed his last contract.
Doesn't he
There's
do-
no way he's getting an extension.
Is he on Dancing with
He's
the Stars
done.
now?
God, please.
No.
Who does Dancing with the Stars?
Dancing-
No, he got
replaced,
booted.
Oh,
Yeah.
he got
That
booted.
guy.
No, Dancing with the Stars
he
had
said
Tyra
something.
Banks recently.
has time to watch Dancing with the
Before
Stars?
Tyra Banks, who was it? It was that guy.
It was the guy from
Yes.
what you
I
call
don't
it?
remember his
I
name.
America's
liked it, but
Funniest
he
Home
said
Videos.
something dumb and he was out.
Yes,
right?
he got canceled.
Yeah.
Classic.
Like classic canceling, you know.
Classic, you guys. Am I right?
Classic. Tyra Banks is
Typical-
out
Well,
of that
if we ever
too,
get
though.
the opportunity to be semi-famous, we're gonna ruin it.
Well,
obviously.
speaking of
You've ruined it.
canceled,
We've already ruined it.
and speaking of ruining
Speakle.
it, Speakle.
Speakle.
Guys,
New energy today.
Yeah.
Olivia's back in the studio. It's great.
it feels like enough time has passed now. It's been out of the spotlight for a whole week,
That's why we waited.
and now it's time to talk about it.
Let's talk about our opinions we gained from Twitter.
Yeah.
Let's just say what we read.
Last week we literally talked about how like so much of what we know is from social media, and 90% of it is always false. And we're
Yeah.
going to
So
talk on a
dumb.
very serious topic,
An event
based
that
off of
none
what
of
we
us
know.
were at.
Yeah.
We know none of the
Well,
information.
A lot
We're
of
just-
people weren't there.
No, that's okay. That's what I was gonna say before the podcast. Isn't this crazy? No, go to my cam. Go to my cam.
How can we trust anyone, really? I mean,
Okay,
all hearsay.
this is obviously a huge tragedy. Think about, you remember the Challenger? You know, the spaceship, all those people that went up in the
remember
Challenger?
the Challenger.
Dude, that was
We lived through it.
televised. Can you imagine? We were watching
By the way.
the submarine go down. I wasn't alive. It was in the 80s.
No, I just want to say when you
Go
start a sentence with, obviously this was a horrendous tragedy, but
No, but like think
whatever
about-
you say after that is like so not.
that's gonna be this whole episode. So get ready for it, dude. The Challenger was like
don't take this personally, but
on video,
I hate
like
your guts.
they were
Same energy.
streaming it. Can you imagine if they were streaming this submarine and then it suddenly was gone? Like that's what happened with the Challenger. It was on
It
TV.
would've been-
They
yeah,
were
but it
watching it
would've
in
been-
classrooms.
It would have been so much more leveled up if this was televised, because this was the like 70 hours of air left.
Yeah,
this many
this was-
hours
this-
of air
God.
left.
That was
The
what
drama,
kind of
yeah.
crazy, you know.
Yeah,
and we don't know when
So
it freaking exploded.
messed up. Okay,
Well,
so
Imploded.
they think it was an hour and 40 minutes.
So
in when they lost
let's get
contact.
into it. So they went down on Sunday.
took a long
This was
time
the
to breathe.
18th, I think.
Yeah.
Let me get my calendar right.
Emma's birthday.
There's a lot of facts to get straight.
They went down on Sunday to go see the Titanic. It's like supposedly like
an
an
8-hour,
8-hour
yeah.
trip,
Oh,
and
man.
they lost contact.
By the way, 8 hours?
Yeah.
Sounds terrifying.
Like on the way down, they lost contact. They were like, okay, that doesn't mean they're dead. That must mean that they're either stuck.
That's when the
or-
time clock started.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this was the craziest thing. The news coverage that was showing how much air that they probably have left. This was literally like a little clock on the bottom
it's like
of
actually
CNN.
kind of gross, right?
So-
like, it's gross that the news is willing to like pick apart some like these families, like not to get too drama about it, but
Do
these
it.
families obviously are like going through it. Like they're losing.
of
You can
course.
have your own opinions about billionaires, whatever.
Oh,
they,
and we'll get
they
to that.
deserve this.
We'll
like,
get to that.
But like these families are like losing loved ones.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah,
the
it's
news
hard.
is taking this opportunity to document their potential, like speculate their final
Mm-hmm.
hours. Like, what the hell is
And
going
now
on?
we know that all of that didn't even count because
Right.
Right.
Of
they
course,
They
in
may
hindsight.
have already been dead.
Yeah, but remember there was for a long time they're like, oh, we're hearing knocking in,
Yes.
in 30-minute intervals,
Ghosts.
and that was like the protocol. If you lose, you know, power or whatever, you're supposed to knock in 30-minute interviews because sonar they'll
Yeah.
recognize the pattern.
So
But
that's
I
now
don't know.
now they're going back and they're like, no, that imploded way before
definitely-
we were hearing
yes.
things. But they were hearing things.
I
so
mean,
what were
maybe
they
that was
hearing?
like an aftershock of.
Is it a shark in the
now
Titanic?
Now they're thinking that it like imploded basically that first day in the first couple hours. That like they lost contact. It definitely imploded, is what they're saying.
Okay, not to get too red pill.
Go
but,
ahead.
Like,
Do it.
I feel like maybe I feel like the news at this point knew they had a hot story, and so it's like any small details that came up about the story, they were going to blast everywhere.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like, oh, we may or may not have
Oh,
heard
yeah.
something. You know, like I feel like it really.
You mean
doesn't
the
they
knocking
could
or the
have-
what?
The knocking. It's like just another result
Yeah,
of the
but-
drama. It's like. How like they may still be alive, like they're not. This is like
Yes.
final signs of life. Like
From
I
what
think
I
it's
could
BS.
tell, it was a lot of effort to send somebody to even go look for them, right? Like
Yeah,
the
They
whole-
didn't.
because
They
you
sent
could-
a drone.
They were saying no matter what happens, whether or not it like comes to the surface or if it gets lost down there, like there's still a time limit because the submarine is sealed on the outside by 17 bolts. So you can't just like let yourself out. So even if they, which as we know now they didn't, even if they made it to the surface, they would just be at the surface. They couldn't get out. And so like the time clock thing was such a pressure because it was like, and because that's the other thing, they're like maybe they came up and then they immediately like drifted way far out, or maybe they drifted underneath as they were coming out, what the current was taking them, and then they popped up like 10 miles away,
Right.
and it's like so they're also it's kind of like the same thing of like searching for a human. It's like really hard, I mean, as you can imagine, in the ocean to find anybody because they can get swept and taken very quickly in the ocean. That's the way it all works. But did we talk about like the details of like the company and the name of it, or are we?
well,
I
no.
can't remember how far we got
Ocean
into
Gate,
it. Honestly.
what
no,
was
we
Ocean?
started talking about a lot.
Okay.
I want to back up just a little bit and
Go
talk
ahead.
about.
Give us the details.
So there were 5 people on
Yes.
this voyage One of them was a guy named Hamish Harding. He was the chairman of Action Aviation.
Yes, because his son was the one that went to the Blink-182 concert.
His
Stepson.
stepson
Courtney
pretty
Singers,
famously posted that
So good.
he was at the Blink-182 concert
That
like
is
the second
funniest
day of
detail this entire thing.
the whole tragedy happening.
And he was like, my stepdad would want me to be here or something like that. He says,
So crazy.
Very-
Out of pocket.
No, it was
Very
like I know
chaotic.
my family doesn't want me to be here, but I feel like I should. It was something like
Yeah,
that.
he said like there's nothing I can do. Like
Yeah. No,
they'd want me to be here.
Basically, he was like, "There's going to be a lot of controversy around me being
Yeah,
here."
that's what
but
it was.
I think my dad would be happy.
Immediately like self-reporting himself because I feel like
Who is
no one
paying
would know
attention?
who he
Nobody was asking.
You know
No
what
one
I'm saying?
gives a crap about this man. He's literally off the grid. Like
Yes,
nobody's paying attention to him.
yes.
It's not like it's literally a situation involving something that's like miles below the
Yep.
water
Yep.
surface, and
So
you on
crazy.
land think you have anything to do with this. Like
Well, like I said, he could just go and not post, or like go and post and not say anything about the tragedy, and no one would know. Who
Nobody
he
would
was,
have known.
right?
Maybe somebody would have caught on and been like, "Hey, isn't your dad in that submarine right now?"
They're at the
I have,
concert, like,
and I have
be
close
a-
sources that man is a POS.
Yeah, apparently San Diego guy. Can you believe it? The
is.
stepson is.
it wouldn't be a story without
Yeah.
one of ours. One of our own.
So Hamish was there. We got Shahzada Dawood was a vice chairman of Engro. He was a Pakistani energy investment person.
He's the richest man in Pakistan.
His
and his son.
the richest man in Pakistan.
Wow.
His son Suleiman
Yep.
was also their 19-year-old college student. That's the saddest one for me.
really sad.
Stockton Rush was the CEO of this company, Ocean Gate, that sent the sub down.
That guy's crazy.
Crazy. And we'll get to him in a second.
Yeah.
And then Paul Henry Narjolet,
I just
self-proclaimed Mr. Titanic
God.
for his expertise of the ship.
Nah.
He's
Nice.
just a big fan of the Titanic.
Very nice. Very
Man.
nice.
He should have known.
I just saw a video the other day that the wife, because it was the father and the son that
Yes,
went on it
yes.
together. The wife was gonna go on the boat, and then last minute she gave the spot to her son.
That is
so
Kind of
sad.
crazy. It's kind of one of those things that when tragedy like this happens, a lot of those stories start to come up. Like I feel like that's always a thing right around 9/11. People are like, "Yep, I
Near
work.
misses,
I was
yeah.
supposed to go into work today, but I didn't." Like it really kind of puts your whole life into this weird perspective of if I just made a couple different choices.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm like, if I spent $250,000 to get on the sub, like I could have died too.
You know what I think?
I didn't get a chance to, of course, but
I feel like there's been so much backlash of like, this is so stupid. Like the submarine obviously had a lot of issues, which it comically does.
yes,
But there's a lot of things that we trust in life.
sure.
Like if it's rides at the fair or
Airplanes.
like
Right.
yeah,
right,
or
right,
like
right.
literally like every like
I would think that something going to the Titanic though, and something costing $250,000 would have better.
Something.
It's better anything.
Yeah.
Better control. Better
Well-
not an Xbox controller controlling it.
Which apparently,
Duh.
I thought the same thing. Apparently, super standard for submarines. Our U.S. military, all of them use game controllers.
That's
Totally,
Guitar Hero
totally a
guitars.
thing.
They're
So
not
that's
going
kind
there
of
like, make a left turn.
the drums.
I gotta
Kind
hit
of
green.
the-
I gotta hit green.
I'd
the
want
big
drums on it.
sad, the rock band drums.
The
right,
rock drum.
right, left.
The
Right,
snare
right,
drum
left.
goes down.
Green drum. Hit the green drum.
Green, yeah.
No,
You
no,
wanna go right.
No, the kick pedal. You don't have the kick
Dang
pedal. It's kind of the big question, and also the like you said, like the cold question. But should they have been down there in the first place? What do you
Well,
think,
yeah,
Jen?
Well,
I think
sure.
so.
Yeah,
For
we
sure.
should be
Well,
able to
I'll let-
explore the
I'll let-
Titanic.
Yeah,
I'll
go
let
ahead,
the cows
girls.
go first.
Go ahead, girls.
I think it's interesting. I think there's like people are history buffs. Like
Yeah.
if that's your thing,
Uh-huh.
that's your thing, whatever. I think they probably should have looked into the company a little bit more. But same with like any other company, like
Right.
bungee jumping, if you're going skydiving,
Uh-huh.
like research
You're largely
their
like putting your life in their hands.
Yeah, this place has only gone down 25 times. If I saw that, I'd be like, maybe not.
Yeah.
You know,
It
like
should be 25 times in the last month.
yeah,
It's
no,
so
absolutely.
expensive
Get more
to go
reps in.
down, though. You know. what
Yeah,
I'm
it is
saying?
really
That's the
cool.
crazy
But there's a
part.
lot of rich
Why
people
is it
that-
so expensive though?
Because
Lot of resources.
It's a retired oil tanker, it's like boat that drives them out there.
Uh-huh.
Then that's like gas, you can imagine.
Gotcha.
And then they have to wait for the perfect conditions. They put this specialized raft that goes in, and then the raft sinks
That
below
was
water.
another thing. Is this was the
Right.
only expedition for 2023 because of weather.
Exactly. So there's like all that. That's what they were when they interviewed this guy who the owner who's no longer with us. He said they're like, "Are you making any money?" He's like, "No." He's like, "I'm not making any money." Like he's like, "We're just doing
This is
it
just a
for-"
thing we do.
Right.
And part of me like agrees with that. It's kind of a similar conversation to like the space thing. Is like part of you is like, yeah, it's a lot of resources to do. It's
it's a once in a lifetime
risky.
chance.
It's really risky. There's a big chance that you could implode or explode or whatever. But like
Would you implode or
Yes
explode
and
in
no.
space?
the knowledge that you can gain, implode underwater, explode. I'm comparing it to space.
Implode in both.
Implode both.
I guess you
'Cause
could.
it's a
Explode here.
vacuum in both.
Suppose you could.
Okay, yes, but also there's like a balance between carelessness
Yes.
and so I feel like
Agreed.
like, I mean, of course, everyone's a naysayer now. Like, there's this thing happened. Like,
Obviously,
everybody's-
hindsight is 2020.
the experts.
But I didn't know
but
anything
there's
about it
so
before
many-
this.
I mean, there's so many people that have come forward that are like, "This was stupid."
Yeah.
Where did the
Genuinely
Titanic
stupid.
leave from?
England. It was going from England to New York. It was like a whole.
I thought it was
Me
opposite.
thinking like, where was Leonardo DiCaprio
Yeah.
when he was playing cards? Was he talking to British people?
Isn't that
or-
funny? All of our information. I don't know
Well, 'cause
anything
I was like,
beyond the movie.
Why was someone in like Pakistan interested?
Oh, it's
in
just
it,
like
you
this
know?
worldwide
World, yeah.
phenomenon,
See,
right?
that's
that's,
like
that's kind
anywhere.
of what I was thinking. I
Yeah.
was like, when I heard that, like and also the British billionaire.
I guess
I'm
it
like,
was. I guess it was the biggest ship at the time. Like the Titanic was literally the biggest.
It's
ship.
like
One of the
going to
greatest
see a
movies of
Seventh
all time.
Wonder,
Yeah,
except
totally.
a lot darker and kind of
Could
weird.
you imagine if everyone at the time of the Titanic was like, this wasn't that cool of a thing, and like nobody wrote down the story? Like it's crazy that like the reason it's so big is just because like there's
Of
so
this
much
movie.
media and like. Well, just I mean, obviously at the time,
And
it was
there's
a huge
the
deal,
people who-
but there's big things happening all the time. I feel
Okay,
like.
the
here's-
people who survived.
Here's the irony: the Titanic was like built up by a lot of big personalities saying, "This ship is unsinkable. This is the biggest thing that's ever been built on the water. Like a moving hotel, all this drama, like intrigue around it."
Yes.
Oh.
And like a similar thing is happening like with this submarine. Like
I absolutely agree.
it's all these very rich people and names like Elon Musk are getting thrown around, and this man who's like running it, this company is like super cavalier and like
Yeah.
trying to break boundaries,
Push
and-
the limits
Yeah.
of,
It's
yeah.
like the same kind of thing, and people are like
Yeah.
interested because
the
it's like
human hubris, right? That
Yeah.
we're like, yes, it's this unsinkable
Hubris.
ship.
it's like a
12 points.
Nature versus man versus nature.
yes, it's consecting like both like drama and like big personalities and also like risk.
I mean, they
And that's
call
why-
the submarine the Titan. It's like
Yeah.
the Titanic.
Well, Titanic.
Yeah, like,
that's
that's
why
crazy.
Man
Tom
challenges
Hanks is going to be getting another movie playing this captain.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, honestly,
no,
That was a meme
no.
that I
How
saw. That was
long-
like
Please.
that was
How
like
long
Tom
until
Hanks
they make the
Genuinely,
movie?
yes, they take every opportunity. They made
Why?
that Sully movie within like a year of that
That is
happening.
so true.
Like literally.
That is
They're
so
ruthless.
messed
Yeah,
up.
but Sully saved people. This guy.
Yeah, but then they
killed
made
people.
him to be like a villain in it.
Like my thing
Really?
is,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's
my
like evil.
yeah,
he was like drinking or something.
yeah, he's on
They,
trial.
like, painted
Oh
him
wait,
as
He's
like
on
no,
trial
no,
all
that
the
was
time.
Denzel Washington. That was
Yeah.
he gets drunk and lands the plane upside down, doesn't he?
What?
What are you
Okay,
talking
Not
about?
Sully,
I haven't
not
heard
Sully,
It's, like,
not
completely
Sully.
rambling.
I was gonna say, but this doesn't really have like an ending. Like I mean, Olivia, you're a writer. Like,
Thank you.
Can you write? Does this story have any sense of like, can you turn this around without fully changing the story of what happened into
Oh
like a
yeah.
movie?
Well, yeah, because it's like the ticking clock of like
Do it
you have
from
72
the
hours to save yourself.
do it
and then
from the
it's-
perspective of someone who was supposed to go on it, like Mr. Beast.
Oh, yeah.
You think
Yeah.
he's the
That-
main character of this
No,
movie?
because
No, someone like that.
like who
I
has
spent
no-
$250,000 to go on this submarine. That's my
Oh
Mr.
my
Beast.
gosh, oh my gosh.
No,
but
like
then it's like the billionaires on the submarine are like it's like the menu. You
Yeah,
see the menu?
yeah.
I love the movie.
It's like the same kind of like BS story.
It is kind of. It is like art and life. Like life is crazier than art in this.
It's hard because you
instance.
could
It
fully
really is.
make it a comedy because the whole situation
Wait.
Go ahead.
could be
Go
made
ahead.
into a comedy
I
that
wanna
some
hear
people
what
would
We'll hear
hate.
it. We'll hear it. Go
What's
ahead.
the angle?
We'll hear it.
Do like an ironic
Yeah,
comedy.
yeah. Like they're
Like satire.
5 billionaires.
Yes.
Are like this is an unsinkable
Like the menu.
sub.
The
Yeah.
menu is fully satirical.
Yeah.
I think if I can chime in, I think the
I think you
interesting, the most
Yeah, go
interesting part for me it's gonna sound funny, but it is the memes. I think it is how quickly. Hear me out.
Typical.
How quickly
Chronically online.
that TikTok and Twitter and
So
Instagram
fast.
mobilize
So fast.
to make fun and shit on these 5 random billionaires
Bro,
because of
always.
all the reasons. The poor eat the rich, right?
Yeah,
like. We hate them, and we don't even know who these people are. But before we even
But we're so
learn,
obsessed with
we're
them that we
so-
feel the need to. Just
What was your
rip them
favorite
apart.
meme
Yes,
that you saw? I
yes.
have mine.
Oh God,
Oh God,
I have mine.
Cara.
go ahead,
Dark.
I know mine.
Michael. Don't leave me here.
Bro. No.
It was like we have the
No.
recording of the knocking, and it's that Arrested Development thing when Job's in the
Job.
box. He's like, Michael, don't leave me.
So
Awesome.
like so messed up, bro.
Cara, what's the meme?
Go ahead, Cara.
Alexa, play Air Supply.
Oh.
No.
Boo.
That one does. Okay,
It's
that
not
one
even
doesn't
funny.
make sense.
I like
It's
just
that.
painful.
I like that one.
Mine was this. It was like audio. I didn't recognize it. I never heard it before. But it was like somebody like, I'm gonna do something really controversial, and the haters are gonna come for me. And it was just photos of the Lego Titanic like set, and then there was the Lego submarine set.
Oh.
and like pair them
I'm
together.
telling you now.
And then
I have plans that I cannot
Yes,
disclose
that's
because
the
the
one.
haters are gonna come for me.
Right. And but also there's a similar one where somebody had the Lego Titanic built in their room. It was obviously a Lego person, and they just like, I'm gonna add this, and they like put this little submarine right next to the Titanic, and I was like, yikes,
That's
that is
so
rough.
yikes.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Olivia.
People. No, I don't have one.
Oh,
She's
come
not into
on. You're above it.
I don't look at memes. I don't watch memes. Who has the time?
Who has the time?
It's crazy how calloused the general online world is.
Right.
To this thing is
Oh.
a tragedy. Like
It's the
All the
anonymous-
Bill Hader of him being a ghost dancing. This one's Titanic's ghost excited for some new company.
Oh
God.
God, that one is actually.
crazy.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You know what I
there's kind
mean?
of- there's kind of two. I see like two different like pools of thought. Really, is
Right.
the one where I mean, obviously, like the contrast between like people are so rough when it's billionaires doing kind of unnecessarily things that
Sure.
get in trouble.
Sure.
You know? And but also, I feel like there was this other storyline of like, oh, this is getting all this coverage, but there was like this boat of like people that got like stuck in the mid-Atlantic or something, and the whole boat went down. It was like 75 people died, and it wasn't like wealthy people. It was like I couldn't remember what the exact details were, but it got like no news coverage.
I'm going to jump in. You're talking about the Greek refugee boat.
Yes.
And
yes.
it was actually something more like 700 people.
okay. Yes, that's what it was.
Now,
That's
this
what
was
it
a story that was happening right at the same time. And as of the last time I checked in on the story, there were 100 people that they were confirmed dead. There were like 80 something that they could rescue. And there were still like 500 people missing.
Crazy.
And basically, this is kind of, you don't get the official story, but a lot of people are coming out and saying that it was actually the Greek government sent out this boat to go stop this, refugee boat from leaving.
Oh, wow.
And they tried to tow them into shore, and it capsized.
So why do we think? I mean, I have
That's
a
what I'm
couple-
saying. Is like you have these two kind of competing similar things
Yeah.
where billionaires who are really rich are out like in trouble because they put themselves in this scenario because they
Sure,
want to see the
sure.
Titanic
Out of
getting a
excess,
lot
out
getting
of
a lot of
pride.
news coverage for obvious reasons. It's a crazy story, but then you hear the story of like that is like true tragedy, like people trying to
Yeah.
escape this awful
And it's not like there's a
scenario, and-
ticking clock on
Right.
on NBC,
Right,
like keeping
right.
track of.
So I think like there's kind of those two schools of like, what gets news coverage nowadays? Is that fair? And then there's also like at the same time, it's like who deserves hate? Like do the
Right.
billionaires deserve to be like
I
made fun of?
really think
I
this
don't
only
know.
got news coverage because it was the Titanic. Anything to do with the Titanic always gets coverage.
It kinda
Literally
does,
a
huh?
month ago, they found new relics in
Right.
the Titanic. They found a new necklace. They found like a couple new things in the
Wait,
Titanic.
what are the necklaces?
The heart of the sea, was it blue?
They did. They
What
found
does
a
the
necklace.
necklace look like?
The old lady had it.
They found a
She
couple
didn't
more
throw it.
relics that just over time have come up.
It does always get
and
news
then
coverage.
these people decide to go down at that time. So it's just the
interesting.
Titanic is just a big
It-
hit.
And it's billionaires.
Sure.
Like Elon Musk, his name was even though Elon Musk was like barely even connected to it. It was like friend of Elon Musk.
Yes.
Like on the sub.
Yeah.
Like,
Minor
just-
acquaintance.
I feel like billionaires, like rich people, are kind of America adjacent because like it's such a thing. Like, what do you call it? Like capitalism, and I feel like that all plays well to the American audience. But at
Totally.
the same time, like when COVID was happening, they had the that was so F during COVID, like the death counter, right? It's like,
Yes.
oh, like today's count. It's
Yeah.
like, shit, like why are we?
Jeez.
That is a crazy thing to see
Yeah.
on the news.
Yeah.
Like,
It's really awful.
Well, that
Especially when we're all
was
locked in our
literally just to
houses.
scare us from not leaving our houses.
I mean,
and
or-
that
Okay.
this was a real thing.
Conspiracy
sure.
theory?
propaganda.
I imagine that's part of it. I
Which,
imagine a bigger part
Honestly,
of it.
who wants to go down to the Titanic anymore now?
I was going to ask that question.
I have a
Might be
feeling a
dumb
lot of people.
question, But like, take this event out of your brain for a second.
Okay, sure.
You didn't know this happened. Would you, given the opportunity, would you go to see the Titanic?
If I survive, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying just take this incident.
The same
and pretend
risk.
like it doesn't
The same
exist.
risk. Oh.
Because obviously now you probably wouldn't, just because of this scenario.
Would I have
You
been
know what
able to
I'm
go see the submarine that I'm going in?
saying?
Yeah,
Sure.
can I go
Yeah,
inspect it
sure.
first?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
If it was that
This
submarine?
probably,
no.
by the way, this probably felt legit. Like I don't think it's. I mean, obviously we know it was like kind of rinky-dink now.
Here's
but
the thing: they were sitting
Maybe if I was with
crisscross
James Cameron.
applesauce
Bro,
in this
you went
metal
on
tube.
Crazy Mouse at the fair this year.
Not for 8 hours.
You literally could have died
for
on that.
8 hours.
Wait,
I'm
wait,
just
wait,
saying-
Ryan, hold on.
I'm
This
just
is a-
saying.
this
Think
is
like,
about the content you could make.
it's
down
not like
there.
you're looking into.
I spend 8 hours in a metal tube at the bottom of the ocean. Like,
With one
my
toilet.
Mr. Beast.
It's amazing how well you do that voice. by
Thank
the
you.
way.
Thank you. I watch
So
a lot of Mr.
good.
Beast videos.
You know
You
what
know,
I mean? Like, yes.
like, not
obviously,
no.
This is a
If I
bigger
could go
risk.
down with James Cameron, knowing that he's gone down a million
Yeah,
times,
that
then
dude's-
yes.
that dude's the expert.
No, I'm talking about this specific
No.
company.
No.
No.
You
Literally,
wouldn't go.
They're
all
too
of
sketchy.
all of the
This
experts, John.
John, you would go.
Okay, go ahead,
What
John.
is that
Would you go?
No. I'm talking about this company that just had a failed mission.
I said take this incident out. Like you didn't know this existed.
Okay, how many incidents have they had before?
24. They sent 24.
They've sent 24 successfully.
Prior
You're
to
saying
this.
this is the only failed mission.
That somebody died in. Yes.
That's been recorded.
Then I guess yeah.
Well,
You
you're
wouldn't give them the opportunity.
What kind of
to go.
what? No.
If I have to pay 250 grand, no.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
If it was
guys,
paid
you're
for,
ruining it. Yes,
John,
it's paid for. It's
Jeez,
paid
okay,
for.
let me ask you a question, John.
Go ahead.
If I pay for it,
Yeah,
will you go?
I'd go. That sounds so
I
cool.
knew you would. That's what you want me to say.
sounds fun.
Let's go.
All right.
We can
I
both
don't-
go.
I don't think
I'm
Half
just
a
saying,
$1
If
million.
you're going to say right now, again, my scenario is you don't know about this catastrophic failure. This hasn't happened. Meaning, by all accounts,
Would I have gone on the first one? Is what you're
Yes,
saying?
yeah, sure.
No.
No.
Really?
Seeing how deep
No.
the Titanic is, no. There's too much that can go
Liar.
wrong.
Here's
Plays it
okay.
safe.
Here's
Anything can
Plays
go
it
wrong.
safe.
You can get in a car accident on the way home. and
here's
that
my
can go wrong.
honest. Here's
Yeah,
my
but this is
honest
underwater.
opinion.
You're in the same camp
Here's
as the
my-
guy that owns the company.
I am
Completely
I'm actually a
honest
part owner.
opinion.
That's crazy.
I'm just not that interested.
Same.
To be
I'm
completely honest.
pretty interested, but I really don't want to go on that sub.
I just feel
I'd
like-
rather wait for
Okay,
the technology to get better and the
sure.
windows to get better.
I'd rather go and see the moon. I'd rather be like the first space guy than to go down
yeah,
like
that's fair.
it like
Underwater.
we know what the
Have you
Titanic
watched
looks
the
like.
videos though?
It's
scary.
cool.
It's pretty
It's
cool.
very cool. It's a big,
cool.
like cool shipwreck. But I just feel like
Just give me a big screen and play those
yeah,
videos.
just let me
I'm
watch
fine
the video.
with that.
It's literally the same
don't
thing.
know.
You're looking out a porthole.
Also, those videos
guys
are more
are
high tech
so-
than looking through
Oh
a
my
porthole
100%. 100%. They can send little drones down
That's
there.
cool.
Go up in the.
in the Titanic.
iPad babies. You guys
Yeah.
want to just look at the screen
What
all
are
the
you
time?
talking
Honestly,
about?
I don't want to travel California. Just put me on soaring over
Yeah,
California.
exactly.
Hey, by the
Thank
way,
you.
it's not like you can go down to the bottom
You
and
smell the
get out and
oranges.
walk around.
You smell.
There's
the-
no gas station
water
down there.
rapids.
What the heck are you talking about? It's
I
not
want to
like-
go to that Titanic. I want to get a pin at
There's
the bottom.
no. By the
and
way,
then I want to come back
yeah,
up.
no pit stop, no photo op down there. It's just a circular
But I just
window.
think the argument that I can just watch it on YouTube
Yeah, that's
doesn't
not a good
really
argument.
fly. You know what
Eh.
I'm saying?
What? Why would that not fly? Okay, I'm gonna do this.
Ryan,
I'm gonna
what?
put you in the car. You're gonna
ahead.
sit crisscross applesauce
Yep.
for 8 hours.
Uh-huh.
I'll turn the lights off in the
Okay,
garage,
okay, all right,
and
all
then at the end of 8 hours, I'll put a screen up to the side of the window. You can look at the Titanic,
Obviously, it's
and then I'll pull it.
different.
It's so different.
Obviously
It's so
not.
different.
Yes, you feel feel the vibes.
You feel the implosion.
That is so
Okay,
true.
that's not funny.
Yeah, actually, you won't.
Actually, they didn't feel
the
it.
good
It's
thing is you won't feel it. Yeah.
Okay. I feel
They
like-
don't, technically speaking.
I feel like we're missing a bigger conversation here. Why do we want to talk about this more than we want to talk about like hundreds of people getting killed?
Yeah,
Right,
sure,
right, that's the
sure.
question.
I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. I think, like I said, like we love money, we love like talking about rich people. We love it because they
love
live
rich
a
people.
life that's different than all of
Scandalous.
us. Yes, this crazy, gigantic life where they get to have this opportunity where they're going down to the Titanic. Like that's already such a crazy thing. The same way it's crazy when Mr. Beast goes on this $1 billion, boat. It's like that's inherently interesting. I think from a humanitarian perspective, like yeah, we should probably be talking about how all these people capsized in the middle of the Greek Ocean. But
So
like
do you think news like streaming platforms have an obligation to cover those stories more than they would maybe this?
good question. I think that like puts a lot of assumption on like the role of the news and like what they're there for.
And I guess
think
they're like morals too.
I think, I mean, we are, talking about tragedy here. 9/11 started that whole 24-hour news cycle thing where I don't think anybody should be watching the news at all times of the day. Like, I think that there's a healthy amount of news you should consume in a day. Get your stories,
Yeah.
talk about, the discourse.
Because there is a demand for content then too. It's like
And-
what kind of story can we fill this 24 and get consistent viewers?
And if not, like, oh, this is such a hot topic, let's just keep talking about it from every angle.
Yeah, exactly.
We know about the stepson of the person that, and where is he? He's on the boat. And social media obviously just amps that up too. And it's like, I don't know.
And we were talking about social media earlier, like, oh, is it okay if people make memes? I think it's just a platform of people doing what they already do.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to be terrible. If we didn't have social media, you'd be hearing people talking shit about this at the grocery store.
I mean,
Like,
it's
Same joke.
Yeah.
everyone
10
was
times.
Yeah.
talking about it. It's like, it just, people are bad people. Like, it just is what it is. And
But
so,
is that bad to like find humor in that situation? I don't think so. Like
well, I mean,
to some
in
extent, I think there's a
general,
line for sure.
I don't know. I mean, how do you even justify that though? It's like you're making fun of people that are dying. I guess if we don't care about the people that are dying, but like, is that? I don't know.
don't
like,
think-
you can't justify.
I don't
that.
think empathy and comedy can't like go together though.
Oh,
like
that's
we can
beautiful.
we can figure out life like in a not so fucking depressing way, right? Like
yeah,
we
I
can
guess
be
so.
like, I don't know. That
No,
could be
I fully
that could
agree,
be
and-
naive, but
And I love it,
yeah.
but also I hate it. You know? What I
Yeah,
mean?
it is crazy that some of the things I've read and seen in the past week are so psychotic.
Horrible.
I'm
like James Cameron when he came up from his first expedition down there. Was it
Go
his
ahead.
first?
oh
Did he,
yeah,
like,
you're
talk
talking about
about it?
yeah, him and what's his name? Well, I feel weird rehashing it. This was literally on Joe Rogan, but Rob Lowe was like, yeah, I was talking with who's the guy that's on that movie Titanic?
Leonardo DiCaprio?
No,
No,
the
he's the
first
main
guy.
guy.
Yeah, Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton and James
Bill
Cameron went
Paxton.
down to the Titanic, like to research the movie, whatever. And
You're saying I was
A lot of research down there.
yeah, if you can
They
believe
could
it.
have just searched it on YouTube.
Yeah, why did
right?
they just
They
look
didn't
up
have
a video
YouTube
of
back
it?
then.
They
Wait,
just
that's
pull it
so
up.
They didn't
dumb.
have
Hey,
YouTube back then.
They're also
Wait, are they stupid or
Pop
something?
in the VHS. We'll just watch it
Sure,
on the screen.
watch the
Also,
movie.
how long ago was that? And their submarine made it.
True. That's what I'm saying.
Which is why, if I was given the opportunity, not knowing about this incident, yes, I'd go. Because why wouldn't it be
But
safe?
why would you choose to go on that?
what does that
specific
have to
one?
wait? What is this incident? Do you think that this changes how
Yeah.
previous incidents would have
Exactly.
gone?
Yes. If
Maybe
now,
your
now
mindset.
knowing this,
Maybe your mindset. Sure.
It affects my decision. Yes. That's
So
which
why-
is what I'm asking.
why would
is
it
if you
not?
would go.
Why would you eliminate any information from making your decision?
John,
If
I
I-
don't think you're giving yourself enough credit because
I
I
think
think
so.
you would look
I
into
think
the
so.
company you're
Okay,
you're
yeah.
going through.
But what I'm saying is, this particular incident now in my brain, in my decision making process, of course I'm not going. You know what I'm saying? Because this just
Why?
happened. Like,
Why?
That's
It's only
terrifying.
one out
That's
of-
the nightmare fuel.
That's
right
only
there.
1 out of 26 expeditions.
There's already nightmare
That's
fuel. You're
that's
going,
good statistics.
You know, they
Where
signed
people
papers
shouldn't
that
go.
literally said death like 5
Yes,
times.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
sure.
yes, but
You know
also
the risk.
same with anything that you like. Same with if you were given the opportunity to skydive.
Yeah, I'd
And-
probably do it.
Yeah, but like the same amount of nightmare fuel exists, whether or not
Sure,
someone
but
died.
right now, like my brain now
Well, yeah, obviously
has
right
this,
now you're
has
not gonna
this,
go.
Right, exactly. That's
Okay,
what I'm
but
saying.
in like 12 years, maybe you're
No,
gonna be in a
because it
different mindset.
exists. Like the loss is now on the board, so now I know what it could look like.
But people die all the time doing stuff
You're
like
so
that.
full of shit.
What?
You're telling me you told me last week without question you would have gone on, but this week you're like, nah.
Yeah, you
pass.
I
It's the
know.
same
I wouldn't-
risk. It's the same risk.
It is,
Isn't it?
Yeah, just because
Not
this
for
is
me,
more
not,
relevant.
not because of this story, not because
I
know
mean,
these
just look at
people
the
died.
statistics.
Okay, keep going, Ryan.
Keep going. What?
You're talking about the
Oh,
submarine.
Bill Paxton and James Cameron come up, and 9/11 happened while they were down on the Titanic. It's like just crazy.
That's so bizarre.
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why were we talking about that?
I don't know.
Well, because you brought up James, we were talking about James Cameron and
Yeah, that guy's been down there
9/11.
1,000 times.
He's been down there so many times, and he's been very outspoken about the fact that nobody should have gone in this submarine. He's like, the way it was built was wrong.
That's what I'm talking
It wasn't
about.
checked.
That's what I'm talking about.
yes,
Yeah.
Like if you were choosing to do something that's risky,
Yeah.
you
Sure.
being
your research.
the person that you are
Sure.
would research it.
Yeah.
Sure. What I'm going to say too is, if it was just like I had to pay $250,000 to do this, like just no shot. Even if I had the money, I wouldn't spend my kind of money to do that. You know what I'm
'Cause
saying?
it's not your thing.
Like all the optics, I wouldn't do it. But if it was like a free ride, like I could go next week
With James
to
Cameron.
do this, like. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds freaking sick.
Yeah.
Like it does. Like
And you're saying guarantee that you survive.
well, I don't know that I'm going to survive, but now I wouldn't
do you
go
think
now.
they have tests above water with all that pressure on these submarines, or do you think they just build it and hope for the best?
Oh my
No,
gosh.
for
They
sure.
said that the pressure down there at the bottom,
It's
like by the
crazy.
Titanic, is equivalent to an elephant putting all of its weight on a penny. If the weight of an elephant was resting on a penny, that's the
Holy
pressure
moly.
around the entire sub, the
I
water
feel
on
like
the
I
sub.
need to have the penny be something that could break, so I can understand the metaphor.
Okay,
better.
a ceramic,
the
a,
penny's gonna be fine.
a teeny tiny plate. No, I'm saying that
You know,
pressure,
like a little mug.
a teeny tiny
Wait,
ceramic.
There's a really
plate.
cool video
Tiny little mug.
of they
or a
had this.
peanut.
It was this guy that
Elephant on a
does
peanut,
these
okay?
tours, and he said that he would take styrofoam cups and he would like write people's names on them, and then when they do a tour, it would be in an unpressurized part of the submarine. These cups, they'd go down, they'd come back up, and the cups went from like this big to like thimbles, the size of thimbles, because
Wow, the
that's how
pressure.
much
Peanut.
pressure it was.
Peanut.
Yeah,
Weird.
kind of cool.
Peanut cup.
That's
Dang,
cool. Like, have you ever taken pennies on the Tower of Terror ride?
the best.
Or put them on a train track.
What? Why would you
Okay,
do that?
different
John,
thought,
to
but
answer your
same thing.
question, if there was no risk involved and I had the money, it was free to me. Yeah, I'd go down. Sure.
Thank you. That's all
Would
I
you go to
wanted
the
say.
moon?
Yes.
I go to the
Sure.
I'm just looking at it
sure.
from the
Yeah, sure.
perspective
Sure.
of, hey, listen, it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
Like literally, again, I know that there's been 25 trips, but even if you fit 5 people in there, like it's such a minuscule opportunity to do that. Why wouldn't you take?
Here's the thing.
Even given the threat of
And
death.
I'm basing this on a TikTok also that I saw. Somebody was calculating the actual cost for some of these billionaires, like their net worth and everything, compared to how much they spent on the submarine. It was the
A penny.
equivalent of an iced coffee. You
No
going to go get an
way.
iced coffee. It was how much
Wow.
one of these billionaires spent.
See, that kind of takes, honestly, that kind of takes some of your like thought and forethought out of it, right?
Right.
Because us being like, oh, that's $250,000
To put yourself in danger is dumb, right?
For
It's
them,
like for
it's like,
these
oh,
for these
I
guys,
could do
it's
that
like
now. I
it's
could
only
literally
it's
do that
only a
now.
$250,000. Oh yeah, I'll
Like,
go.
oh, you're invited to come on this submarine.
I think
to see
it's-
it for
it's more
$250,000.
exclusive.
so much more casual for them.
I think it's more
so much more
exclusive is the thing. Is like you get
Yeah.
invited to go.
Well,
on
I
it.
mean,
Maybe.
that's kind of my thing about literally like all these billionaires. Is like they clearly have just done everything that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? like
Agreed.
these guys,
Agreed.
like they got to the point where they've traveled the world. They've been to probably every country
Not
and
the
done all the cool
son.
things. No, the son's probably done a good amount too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, but he was only 19. It's sad.
Sure, but that's what I'm saying is like to get to this point, it's crazy. You
Yeah,
have
it
to
is
really be out of your mind. But
Well, speaking of just the Titanic in general,
yeah.
wow.
before all of this
Leo.
happened,
transitions.
when they were finding new things, their goal was to do a complete digital scan
Okay.
to get like the most accurate size
Who's
read
that?
of the whole
Who's
thing.
they?
Awful was.
The team,
Yeah, I
James
don't know what
Cameron.
company did it.
the squad.
I don't know what company, but they
have
did
something
like
in my way.
above shots, everything. It's a really cool scan, the one that they released, and the artifact that they found that I just want to be sent down there to find
Oh,
myself.
okay. Go ahead.
my
Is it the
gosh,
heart of
the
the
heart.
It
sea?
is
The heart
no.
of the sea.
It is a gold-crested megalodon tooth necklace that showed up in their
They
scan.
brought that
No.
on the Titanic.
Well, someone.
No.
Somebody
someone
had
must have-
that?
I guess
No,
so.
Megalodon had it made down there in the Titanic.
I'm making
the
a
But-
joke about
Megalodon
it.
wore it, or the
They
Megalodon?
this huge scan
Okay.
that they sent a little drone inside the Titanic to get all these scans. Literally, the scan shows like the tooth with like a bunch of other gold flecks like around it. And
Dang.
pretty cool.
You want to go down there for the
that?
Megalodon
Yeah, for
necklace?
the necklace.
That's
Cool.
nice.
Send me down.
Well, you can go in VR if you want. It's just basically
That's
the
fine.
same thing.
A
Fine.
long fishing pole.
Fine. Not
A
you
really,
dragging
really,
me for
really
saying
long
I want to
fishing
watch
pole.
a video. John, neither look at the people in this room. None of these jokers
Including you.
are ever gonna see the Titanic.
You're
Just
right.
watch a video.
I don't want to.
I know.
Want to.
But
I don't
I'm
wanna.
saying but you were comparing. I was saying if
I'm
you could
just
go
setting.
to
I'm
like,
setting
see the
my
Titanic,
expectations
and
to
your
not get my
thought was,
feelings hurt someday.
I'll just watch it on YouTube. Just
Yeah,
put it
who
on
gives
the
a
iPad,
fuck
I'll
about
check
the
it out.
Titanic?
I haven't even seen the whole movie.
Who
No.
gives? Listen to
Out
me.
of your mind.
Who gives a fuck about the Titanic?
No, honestly,
Nobody.
Same. I'm like,
Big boat.
I would rather
Just watch the movie.
Just watch Soul
So much more
Surfer
interesting.
and learn about sharks and Hawaii.
Yeah.
Then go to Hawaii because
Yeah,
there's too
thank
much of
you.
a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, flights.
Yeah.
And it's
much
too
money.
expensive. I'm like,
Awesome.
I can literally watch
Awesome.
an hour and a half done.
Awesome.
God,
Sounds good.
so obnoxious.
Sounds good to me.
It's like literally not even what you.
I'm
believe.
not making fun of you for saying it. I'm making fun of the context because I literally was like, "Would you go to that Titanic?" You're like, "Nah, I just watched it
No,
on YouTube."
you're like, okay. Hear me out.
"Okay."
If this didn't happen last
Dude,
week,
you
if I
could
would have
say
asked
literally
you,
the same thing about the moon, and you just said you'd
You
want to
would
go to
go.
the moon.
sure, moon's cool.
Bro, you would see the. You wouldn't even see the moon. You'd see Earth.
It's a
And
bigger
it would be
porthole.
So cool.
It's a bigger
Literally
hole.
Pull up Google Earth
Walk
right now.
around
I have a
on it.
screensaver if you
Walk
want to
around
check
on
it
it.
out.
Yeah.
we can
Of the
save
moon
ourselves the money.
or the Earth?
Of the Earth.
No,
It's that far
No,
off.
you
No,
could travel
vi-
the whole world right now on
guys,
Google
vibes
Earth.
different. Vibes different.
Yeah, that's
Up
You're
there.
not underwater.
Change
Moon.
the subject.
Moon
jeez.
vibe.
I'm just saying, I think it's pretty rich of you specifically knowing
Go ahead.
you,
Yeah.
saying you wouldn't take the opportunity to
That
go
is
see
so
the
true.
Titanic.
I'm just
That is so
not
true.
that.
Thank you.
Look,
Mister, I'm going skydiving.
now that I
Yes.
know, yeah, eventually. Now that I know it's the price of an iced coffee, maybe I'd go.
Oh my God.
Fine,
I can't
I'll
win.
go.
I can't win.
You won't.
I'll go. You want to go?
That's what I was saying the whole time. Is it doesn't cost you
wanna
money.
go?
You could just go.
You want to go?
If it
We'll
didn't
go
cost
to
me
the
money,
Titanic.
It didn't cost you money.
and this very public
Thing didn't
disaster
exist. Yes.
thing
Yes.
hadn't happened,
Yes.
then yeah, sure, I'll go.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Great.
That's all I wanted.
Finally.
That's all I wanted.
It's the hard-hitting questions that we love to ask here on What the Podcast.
I think it's an interesting question.
It is. You're right. You're right.
All right. Well,
Any last licks in before we wrap this up for the
That's
post
all
show?
we're
I was
talking
gonna
about?
ask about. Oh yeah,
That's
we're
it.
short.
Well,
we're, a
we're
short show
just
now.
about time.
Oh
I was
my
just gonna say
gosh.
my first thought when this all happened was like, why don't they just figure out a way to bring the Titanic to the top? You know what I'm saying? Like, how hard could it be?
Right.
If we can figure out ways to go down there, you know what I'm saying?
There's
in
gotta be a way
sub,
to bring it up.
There's got to be a way to
I've
like
also
hook
had
it
that
up
thought.
and bring it up.
We
I've
should
also had
take
that thought.
Bikini
It's
Bottom
broken.
It's not
and
possible.
push it somewhere
It's
else.
not possible.
Wouldn't
Obviously,
it?
it's not.
Wait,
like,
wait.
the
He looked into
second-
it. Go ahead.
Wouldn't the second that it come up, it would like disintegrate or something?
No, they were saying that.
Rust it out.
They were saying that there's just like they've seriously put a lot of time and thought into like they had
How
this
to
whole
do
thing
it.
where they were gonna put balloons that were filled with diesel gas
Ballasts.
that
Wait,
would
can
help.
you? I'm sorry. Can you
lift
explain
it.
that to me?
What?
It's literally a broken, like splintered, broken, old,
Well, it's made out of
old
metal. It's
boat
made out of steel.
that's on the bottom
It
of
was
the
made of
ocean
iron. I
that
assure
was
you.
broken by an iceberg.
Yeah.
And you think that maybe we could drag it to the top and not lose anything and just.
Well, we're gonna lose some stuff.
Do you remember that
for
part
sure.
of the movie?
I haven't seen the whole
It's literally
movie,
at
so
the
no.
deepest part of.
I don't know. I just think it'd be kind of
She's
cool.
made of iron.
Right?
She's iron.
I assure you, she can.
All right. This is all going. I just want to say also.
Go ahead.
We were talking over coffee about when it was still a very real scenario about like whether they were going to come out or not.
Awesome.
And we were talking about like what's the potential, what would be like the most mysterious ending.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like,
The
like to
theories.
find out, right? Like maybe it popped up, whatever. And I think
Yes,
if it
I
had,
remember this.
if it had popped up and they go to open it, they remember you can't get out from the inside.
Yeah.
You have to be
Right.
like bolted. They go to unbolt it and the whole thing's just empty. Crazy.
Look behind you, David Blaine's there.
I saw that theory.
How did I
too,
do
You
it?
see
That
me?
all of these people who went in have something to hide that they don't want anyone to know, and they went under far
Oh
enough
my-
that someone came under,
Knives Out
hooked it
3.
up,
Knives Out 3.
they escaped.
Scuba. It's them in
Yes.
scuba gear.
I saw that theory.
Well,
that
it's-
they're actually
It's,
on Epstein's
what's,
island.
What's that guy's name?
This is all very interesting to me.
Oh yeah. What's his
Matt
name?
LeBlanc or something. What's his name?
No.
That all these people are still alive and they're hiding
Well,
somewhere.
I heard too that like the
Very
$250,000
peculiar.
isn't for the ride. It's just to make yourself disappear. Like it was always doomed to fail.
I
They were
love
just like
it.
paying that money so that they
That's
could just
the
pretend
movie.
that
That they
died.
kill themselves or they disappear.
They just,
Like,
well, because the implosion, they're not going to find anything.
They'll never
They're not
find
gonna
That's the
find
And
movie.
they'll never feel it.
wow.
That's the movie.
That is the movie.
Yeah.
Guys, it's a summer of Olivia. I'll tell you what, for the next few weeks that Annie's gone, we've got the old.
Oh yeah, let's take. Oh, there she is.
The old liberals back on. Well, that's it for us. Thank you to Texas Roadhouse. Thank you to our
Going
Patreon,
there tonight.
our Patreons,
Patreon.
patrons. And on the couch as always, Cara Tafolla, Olivia Tafolla. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And we'll see you next week on
On
What the Podcast.
Wow.
Hey. It's the Titanic comprehensive episode.
The guy in the movie.
Not the Titanic. That's seriously the
Titanic.
craziest. That's literally what it
The
was. Dave.
Titanic.
The Titanic.
Britannica.
Ugh.